So it's Saturday night at the moment, about 5:15, and as you can see, we're setting up Casting the Runes on stage here. We've got half the door up, that's why it looks a little bit weird. For the past couple of days, so Thursday and Friday, we've been here at the Pleasance Theatre in London, and you can sort of see it's quite an unusual setup because the seating down here is set up in a kind of cabaret style with tables, and then there's a sort of balcony around the edge there, and then a further balcony up the top here. So it's quite an unusual space to perform in. Also, you should be able to see, if I take the camera down here a little bit, you can see that the stage is actually sort of thrusted out into the audience quite a lot, and also it has this curved shape at the front, and this in fact is a revolve, which means that that whole section of the stage can be turned if necessary during a production. Obviously we're not using that because it's not something that we have planned in the show, but
we did have to get them to move it.
Yes, because another show that was on has been using it, so when we came back in, all of the little marks that we put down on the floor to tell us where our set goes were actually in a different place, so we had to get them to revolve everything back into place. Anyway, we're getting set up now for the last performance here. So we would have done 3 performances here. And we've had a nice time actually. We had a lovely crowd in last night and the night before. We've had a couple of lovely reviews come in as well, so we'll share those at some point. And then immediately after this show, we're going to have to pack everything up into the car. So the show's at 7, finish at about 8-ish, and then we'll pack everything up as quickly as we can, get everything down into the car, and then we will set off driving to Crewe, because we've got a performance in Crewe tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So yeah, that's going to be an early start. Anyway, I better go and get on with it and not let Antonia just do all the work, and we'll see you later.
Hello, I'm Antonia and this is Noel, and we are from Boxtail Soup Theatre Company, and today we are in the Lyceum Theatre in Crewe in their studio space. We're about to do another performance of Alice. We've already done one this morning. We had a 10 a.m. show, which was too early, but the audience were very lovely.
That's why we're dressed like this as well. We're in costume because they are going to open the doors in about
imminently
10 minutes, I think.
Yes. We have been at the Pleasance Theatre in London for most of this week, well, the latter part of this week. We had 3 shows there. Noel took, I think, a little bit of footage of the theatre to show.
Yeah, I tried to get a little bit, but actually, we were saying before, it was actually a bit busier than we expected for us, because in a funny way, it was actually a little bit more like a Fringe experience, wasn't it? Obviously, we were with Pleasance at this year's Edinburgh Festival, and so that's how we ended up performing at the theatre in London. And
they do a kind of mini festival, don't they? It's sort of,
yeah, they do a sort of the best of Edinburgh kind of thing, and there were a few shows that we recognised from Edinburgh on there. There was a show on after us who, you know, we'd sort of seen and recognised from Edinburgh, and it meant that there was a similar turnaround as well. So after we finished the show in the evening, in the same way as we would at the Fringe, we then had to get everything kind of packed and stowed away quite quickly, because there was going to be another show coming in to perform later in the evening. Excuse me.
oh dear, Norbert.
Sorry.
And
very unprofessional.
Very unprofessional. But the venue is interesting. In fact, there it's more of a, I would say it's more set up I think, for comedy or cabaret style shows, in the sense that the seating is cabaret style, which means seated around tables rather than rows of seats like you would get in a traditional end-on theatre. The stage itself is also a slightly strange shape because it actually is a revolving stage. I think you mentioned that in the video that you've done, so I won't go on about that either. But the consequence of that, in fact, was that when we were performing on it, it actually moves around quite a lot. It slightly reminded me of being on the ship when we were doing Gulliver, because it has this kind of its own movement. But we had really nice audiences. They really enjoyed the show. We've had a couple of new lovely reviews, which is very nice.
Oh yeah, which was very nice. Yeah, and the feedback was brilliant.
It was great. Yeah,
People
we had a lot of
really enjoyed it.
Fun, in fact, really.
Yeah.
And then yesterday was a sort of typical touring thing, really, where we had to leg it out of that venue because we had to pack up and be out of there before. We had to be out of the space basically by 8:30. And bearing in mind we didn't start till 7, that was very quick for us to pack everything down.
And we're not talking the normal thing that you do after a show, you know, where you're just swapping over, where we just move everything out of the way.
No.
It was literally packing everything
all the way,
folding it all up, packing it all back in the trunk, ready for travel.
And then putting it all in the car so that we could drive to here, to Crewe, which was actually not too bad a journey, but we didn't get to our premiere inn until, I don't know, midnight. And then, so we weren't in bed till about 1:45.
And then we had a show this morning at 10 a.m.
We had to get up at 6:30 or whatever.
Fortunately, the audience this morning were really, really sweet and they really enjoyed the show. So that kind of buoys you up and helps you along the way.
It was funny though, because it reminded us, because the last time we came to this studio theatre was just after we'd got back from LA, back in last year's tour, and we were all jet lagged. So in between the two shows, when we were waiting for the audience for the second show to come in, you were almost falling asleep sat in the corner over there.
Because we were doing Win in the Willows and we start waiting, sitting on stage, and I did have a moment of, I mean, it's not quite the same as tiredness, is it? Yeah, it is that weird jet lag thing where it suddenly overtakes you, and I just sort of snapped to and realised I was sitting on stage about to start the show.
Luckily the show was fine. It was a nice show. Anyway, that's probably all we've got time for blathering on at you about today, really. We've got 2 very, very busy weeks now because it's half term. So this week we're all over the place. We're in Ulverston, I think that's how you say it, on Tuesday with Casting the Runes. Then on Wednesday we're at the Old Laundry Theatre, where we've been a few times before, doing Alice for 2 shows. They've got a children's theatre festival over half term. And then on the day after that, whatever day that is, Thursday, is that right? We are in Henley at the Kenton Theatre. I think there's only actually a lot of these shows are getting very, very full, so it's worth, if you are coming, book up. Then we're in Hempstead at the Old Town Hall. Both of those shows are nearly full. We're doing Alice and Runes there. Then we're in Banbury at the
Mill Arts Centre in Banbury,
doing Alice and Runes again. And then we finally end up at the Ark in Winchester, which is somewhere we've never been before. So if you know anyone who lives near Winchester, then send them our way. And then we've got one day, I think, of a sort of turnaround at home before we then head off again on Tuesday, which I can't remember where we're going next Tuesday.
No, it's another busy-ish week though.
But it is a busy week again.
These are
So lots of travelling around, lots of premiere ins. Well, actually, we've been very lucky this week because we've got lovely friends who are able to, and family who we can stay with a few times, which always makes a bit of a difference. So anyway, we should go and get ourselves ready. Yeah,
all of these guys are ready, and we're pretty much ready.
I've got my wedding rings on, so I need to take those off.
Yeah.
I don't think Alice is married.
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe. This is slightly older Alice. She's revisiting everything.
True, that's true.
So we're going to go and get into position and let them open the doors in a moment, and then we'll get started.
So as always, if you are enjoying the vlogs, please do give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, ask any questions you'd like, subscribe to the channel, and welcome again to the new subscribers. I feel like we've gone over 600 now, which is amazing for our tiny little channel that sort of does.
Yeah, I think we have. And we want to sort of reiterate again, because it's particularly difficult for us when we're doing these vlogs, when we're touring, it kind of feels like we're repeating ourselves sometimes, because we're sort of going to different venues and trying to get footage of what we're doing. So if there is anything in particular anybody wants to hear more about, or anything anybody wants to know about, or if you've got any specific questions, then please do let us know, and we will do our very best to answer them here if we can. But yeah, otherwise, as you were saying, welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.